Right, welcome. So this is Gauss's law of electric field. Let's get started. Now, what is the main idea? This law states that electric charges produce electric field. Now, let's say, imagine that we were, okay, let's say your kid brother came and called you and was like, brother, come, oh, come, oh, come, oh, come. Oh. There is snake under the stair. And you just ran under the stair about killing the snake, and suddenly they took light. Let's say it was during the night. You've seen the snake, you were close with your stick, you were about smashing the thing, and suddenly light went off. What would you do? You discover that day it will be very funny. Now, what happened actually? What is the physics behind this? Is that light bulb, your light bulb. Now, what does that light bulb does? Your light bulb spreads light in all directions. So when your light was turned on, you discovered that everywhere was bright. Why? There was light ray in every direction, so you could see. Now, the same thing is applicable with what? With electric charges. What does electric charges does? They spread electric influence outward. Now, under electric charges, we have two types of charges, which are namely what? We have the positive and the what? And the negative charges. So when we're talking about the positive charges, we're having something that looks like this. When we want to draw here, where the field is pointing where? It's pointing outwards. Outwards. We have the negative charges, or charge rather, where the field will be pointing where? Inwards. Now, if we have both the positive and the negative charges in space, then there will be what? An electric attraction. So let's say we are having positive here and we're having the negative here, then we'll have the force field will look somewhat like this, where this will be going like this. And we'll have something like this. Where this is pointing outwards, and this will be pointing where? Inwards. So, if we want to make sense of this, we can actually say that the charge flows from where? The positive to the what? To the negative. Then, according to fundamental law of static electricity, which states that what? Like or similar charges does what? Repel each other, while unlike or opposite charges attract each other. Now let's get to the equation. How does Maxwell equation for electric charges look like? Let me remove this. So we have that the Gauss's law for electric field looks like this. Then what does this equation mean? This is not scary. It simply means that what? The sum of charges over a closed surface equals or depends on the magnitude of the what? Of the charge. Remember that this is a constant. So the sum of what? The electric charge or charges in a closed surface depends on or equals to the magnitude of the what? The electric charge. So let's go through every symbol here. Now this first one simply means add up over closed surface. The second one here means my electric field. Then this third one here means tiny area. Tiny area. We have our equals. This charge. Why this one is a constant called permittivity of free space. Every constant is always equal to a value. So our permittivity of free space equals 8.85 times 10 raised to the power minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square. So let's continue. Now imagine from this formula, what is this equation trying to really explain? Let's say you're having a balloon, and then the magnitude of air that balloon will release. Maybe you've seen children online where they were playing with balloon. They are going to do what? Inflate the balloon, and they'll be using it to, push one or two light objects down. So if you were involved in that, you discover that the magnitude of the air that balloon can do what? Can release is equal to the what? To the magnitude of the air inflated or pushed into it. So you can't give what you don't have. That is what this equation is actually explaining. That the magnitude of the electric field over a closed surface is always dependent on the what? On the quantity of charge in that what? In that surface, in that closed surface, in that field, in that environment. Hope this is clear. You're free to drop any question you might have in the comment section. So let's go beyond. Then the next thing we're quickly going to be touch is what? Electric flux. So when we are discussing electric flux, what do we mean? Is the amount of electric field passing through a surface. So the amount of electric field passing through a surface is called the electric flux. Now is given as what? And this is equal to the product of this. All right. Now let me try to explain this as simply as possible. When we are discussing electric flux, what analogy should we use? Okay, let's say that we have a river. Let's say a river is flowing. Then let's say I want to use a net to measure the amount of water that passes through that net from this river. So what will I do? That means I will need to get my net. Let's say I kept my net at this point. So let's say, okay, these are the holes. Remember that our net must have holes. Then the water should do what? They will still go out, okay. Now, in order for me to have maximum amount or volume of water entering this net, I will need to make sure that I place this net in a perpendicular position with what? With the flow. So if my net is here and my water is flowing this direction, that means I'm having a what? An angle of 90 degrees here. So when I'm having an angle of 90 degrees, that is when I will have what? Maximum water flowing in. Now, let's go back to our equation. Okay, before we do that, let's say I tilted this net. Let me say I now change the net and maybe kept it like this. Now you discover that water will still flow in, but it will not be compared to the volume of water that will flow in when it's kept perpendicular. Are we together? Now, okay, let's even say that, okay, my net is like this, and maybe the water is falling. Maybe we have a waterfall, so the water is coming from a height above. Now, you discover that when the water is falling like this, only a little amount of the water actually enters this net. If the water must truly enter only from the mouth here, you discover that only what? A few, if not zero, enters. So what does it mean? So when the field is parallel to the surface, that means we're having electric flux to be what? To be zero. When the field is parallel to the surface, electric flux is zero. Note. But when the field is perpendicular, electric flux is what? Is maximum. Now, when will I know when the field is perpendicular? Remember that we've said for it to be perpendicular, we're having a degree of what? 90. Now, but you quickly note that what? Sine 90 is same thing as what? Cos 0. Because both of them is going to give us a result of what? Of 1. So at sine should be 90. But since we are considering cosine here, when are we having a maximum electric flux? When the angle is what? Is 0. So once you see an equation and they say blah 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 perpendicular, know that your what? Your angle is 0. Or they told you when we will have a maximum electric flux, know that it's when your angle is what? 0 degrees. I believe this is clear. So the next thing we're going to be handling is electric field due to a point charge. Now, from Coulomb's law, we had that our force of attraction or repulsion equals the what? Had something like this from Coulomb's law in electric field. Now, but equally recall that electric field is what? Force per unit charge. So if we equate this into this, then we'll be having that what? We'll have that our electric field should be giving us what? Our constant here, our charge, all divided by what? Distance square. And this is what we mean by what? Electric field due to a point charge. So every question under this, you just simply need to do what? To know this formula. Then when it's from Coulomb's law, when you're given two charges, then you use this one to solve where you're asked to get your force. Now remember that D is a constant, and this K here is equal to 1 over 4 pi EO, and this is also equal to what? 9 times 10 raised to power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. So this is a constant. Remember that this is called permittivity of free space. Pi is 3.14. Multiply by this, divide, you will come to have this value. It's not manufactured. This is actually physics. Alright, so I believe the next thing that we're going to do quickly now is to touch few calculations that will help us understand better what is physics without calculations. We have a beautiful question here, which is the first. A uniform electric field of magnitude 4.5 times 10 raised to power 3 Newton per Coulomb passes through a flat rectangular surface with dimensions 0.20 meter by 0.30 meter. Calculate the electric flux through the surface if the normal to the plane of the surface makes an angle of 30 degrees with the direction of the electric field. Now let's quickly do this. So we have our solution here. Now let's bring out our parameters. They gave us magnitude of what? This is the electric field. So that should be what? My E is equal to 4.5 times 10 raised to power 3 Newton per Coulomb. Passing through a flat rectangular surface with dimension this by this, we should know that this should give me my what? Area. Area is meter square. Length times breadth. So let's say, okay, our area is 0.2 times 0.3, and that should be 0.06 meter square. What else are we giving? Calculate the electric flux. So we are looking for electric flux, which is this. They gave us an angle of what? 30 degrees. So my theta here is what? 30 degrees. Now from this, we should know the formula that we should use to solve this. We have that what? Our electric flux equals this. So when we put in our parameters here, we'll be having the electric flux equals what? 4.5 times 10 raised to power 3 times area 0.06 times cos what? 30. So we can use calculator to do that. So when we check, we have cos 30 times and we're having what? Our electric flux equals 233.83 Newton meter square per Coulomb. So this becomes our final answer. I believe it wasn't a hard one, so you can go through it and confirm the answer. So let's take one more. So question number 2 goes like this. A charge of 2 microcoulomb is placed in space. Find the electric field at a distance 0.5 meter away. So how do we do this? This is simple. So let's bring out our parameters first. Always bring out your parameters first so that you know the formula you're using to solve. So we have what here? We have charge 2 microcoulomb. Remember that charge should be measured in coulomb, and not microcoulomb. So how do we convert from micro to coulomb? From microcoulomb to coulomb, rather, just multiply by 10 raised power minus 6. So this will be equals to what? 2 times 10 raised power minus 6 coulombs. Alright, it's placed in space. Find the electric field. So we are looking for E. Okay, at a distance that is R, 0.5 meter. So having these three things, automatically we should know the formula. That is what? Electric charge at a point. So we have that our E here equals what? We have our K charge over what? R square. Now remember that D is a constant, which is what? So we have, don't forget that this is a constant, 9 times 10 raised power 9 Newton meter square per coulomb square. So when we equate all these things, we'll be having what? We have 9 times 10 raised power 9 times our charge is what? 2 times 10 raised power minus 6, all divided by what? 0.5 times 0.5. So using our calculator, when we do the numerator, what we'll be having? We'll have the electric field will be equals to what? We are having 18,000. When we multiply this should be 0.25. So what else? We divide what? 72,000. What is the unit here? Newton per coulomb. I believe this is not hard at all. So I'm going to give you one that you solve for me. Go to the comment section and drop your answer there. I'll surely come to confirm. This is the one you are doing for me. Go through it carefully. I believe this is not hard. Solve and drop your answer in the comment section, and I will shortly come to confirm the answer. Bye bye.